All right, so the first question comes from Neil Smith from Solihull. Did you have to audition to join the band's touring lineup? And if so, what songs did they ask you to play? And actually the story, this will be a little bit long, the story of me joining R.E.M. is pretty great. It really happened in a very nonchalant way. Firstly, I'd gotten to know Peter from, the Seattle music scene. Peter had stayed on in Seattle after R.E.M. made Automatic for the People. And he ended up marrying Stephanie Dorgan, his second wife. They had two daughters, and, he settled down in the Seattle area for many years. I knew Stephanie because she owned the club, the Crocodile Cafe, and, we played there. My band, the Posies, was the first band to ever play at the Crocodile. So I was well acquainted with Stephanie and the Crocodile, and I was hanging out there pretty much every night. And Scott McCoy, who had already joined R.E.M., who was, someone I'd been playing music with and knowing for years at that point, was the booker at the Crocodile Cafe. So it really was like our hangout. And suddenly Peter was part of the hangout. And we started playing together in a project that Scott and I started called the -5. And after doing that for a couple of years, R.E.M. had an album prepared up, and Peter just started acting a little bit different to me one day. We were at the Crocodile like we were every night, and he was like, I really like that album that you did, your solo album. It's really cool. Yeah. If you ever want to just come over and record at my house, I've got some recording stuff and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wow, thank you. That's a great compliment. Thank you so much. And like a day later, so, maybe I was thinking like, maybe you could, come and play, like maybe we might do this promo tour. We're not going to do a tour. We're just going to do this promo tour, and maybe you could try out for it or audition or something. And I was like thinking, does you mean like R.E.M., etc. And in the meantime, side note, I got a call from Barrett Martin, drummer from the Screaming Trees, who'd played on Up. And he called me out of the blue. I didn't really know him that well. And he called me and he said, hey, I just want to let you know that I've been, recording with the guys, and, they were asking me about maybe live performance, and they said that they might want me to play keyboards and stuff like that. They were torn, between Joey Waronker and Barrett, and they ultimately ended up with Joey playing live. He said, I'm not really a keyboard player, and so I told them they should just get you. And I thought that was incredible. I mean, the guy barely knows me. I thought it was a really nice compliment. Well, evidently, the whole thing added up. Me playing music with Peter and Scott, and Barrett's recommendation, and, a lot of things coming together. Anyway, so Peter basically said, yeah, we're going to do these auditions in San Francisco, and you should come and stuff. And I said, oh, okay, that sounds great. And then I saw him like 2 days later, and he said, oh, yeah, forget about the audition. Just learn these songs. Okay. And he gave me a printed out list of like 50 songs. And so I learned them. I asked him, like, on what? He said, I don't really know. We switch instruments, so it could be on bass or guitar or keyboards, or I'm not really sure. So I learned these 50 songs, like all of their songs, on bass, guitar, and keyboards, and just hope that was it. Of course, when he said, forget about the audition, just show up in San Francisco on this date. Okay. And then there was also, many of those songs that were on that list we didn't play, and there's a whole bunch of new songs and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, that was it. It was like that. It just was so haphazard in a way, but fantastic.